Hello, welcome to my bookshelf, and it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but today I'll be doing a Top 5 Wednesday video. This week's theme are books that you are thankful for, and it can be for any reason whatsoever. And I really enjoy this topic, and so I'm really excited to share with you the books that I'm thankful for many different reasons. So let's just jump on in. None of these books are in any kind of order, they're just in a pile, and I'm going to share them with you. So the first book that I'm thankful for is called After Dark by Haruki Murakami. And the reason why I'm thankful for this book is because I took this world literature class in college, and I really enjoyed that class. There was so many interesting books and excerpts from books that we read in that class that I never would have read otherwise, and that I thought were so interesting. And I was almost kind of surprised, sad to say, that I was so interested in these books from authors from all around the world. And I really enjoyed that class. And one of the books that I took home with me and I kept and I still enjoy is After Dark. And this is also my introduction to magical realism. I've never read an entire book like that. I've read short stories, but not an entire book. And Murakami is super unique and super interesting. And yeah, I've never read anything like it before, but it was a really enjoyable story, and it really made me appreciate his style of writing and just his books in general. So since then, I've bought in several books from him, and I plan to keep reading him as an author. I think he has something that I've never seen before, and so I like reading authors that are different from each other, and I'm just so thankful for this book, that was my introduction to all of this. And also kind of my introduction to like pushing myself to read authors from other countries other than the United States. This was kind of the reason why for books like this from this class. So I'm thankful for this book for many different reasons. And honestly, it's a really interesting book. Okay. The next book that I'm thankful for is called The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. If you don't know, this is a nonfiction book, and it's written by Gretchen, who has decided to come up with this happiness project. And basically, she does a lot of research on, these things that are supposed to make you happier and just like different things to kind of try out and things like that. And so she's very organized, and she kind of comes up with different areas of her life that she wants to work on each month. And then she comes up with specific goals that she's going to try to do each month to try to work on that specific area. And this entire book, it breaks down every single month and what she did and how it worked and what happened. And so this book is just really inspiring to me, which is why I'm thankful for it. I like that she just does this of her own volition, and she encourages others to do the same, to come up with their own happiness project. I like that she says that it's different, it's going to look different for every single person, and to be okay with that and to try what works best for you. And it's just very inspiring, and it really does make me want to do this myself. So that's something I'm thinking about trying to incorporate next year. So we'll see what happens, but either way, I am really thankful for this book, and I think we need more books that show people being vulnerable and being honest and just trying new things and taking risks. I think we could all benefit from that. Alright, and the next book that I'm thankful for is called Between Heaven and Mirth by James Martin. If you don't know, this is also a nonfiction book, and as you might be able to tell from the cover, it's about the importance of joy, humor, and laughter in the spiritual life. And I'm thankful for this book for a couple different reasons. One being this was a recommendation to me from one of my friends. When she described this to me, I was very intrigued, and I went out and I got it, and I read it, and I must say, I really just appreciate the fact that this book even exists, because this is something I normally don't talk about, being a channel about books, but I'm Catholic, and so I am religious, and I appreciate that this book exists, that we have a book that is willing to break those stereotypes that, like, to be religious and pious and holy, you have to lead a boring life, because that's not true. Or that, like, holy people don't have fun, or I don't know, things like that. So it kind of combats those stereotypes head on and counters it with some evidence, assuming that you're from religious traditions that you would, find to be helpful. But anyway, yeah, I just like the fact that this book exists and that we can talk about why it's so important to have fun and enjoy your life. You only have one life, right? YOLO. But instead of like using that like YOLO to just do stupid stuff, like you really should use it to enjoy your life fully and to have fun and just to do the things that truly matter. And so, I don't know, I just really enjoyed this book and I am really thankful it exists. And something I should add about this book, like I mentioned before, I'm Catholic and like the author's Catholic, and I would say that yes, he talks a lot about the Catholic tradition, but I also really appreciate that he talks about other faith traditions and kind of proves his point within other faith traditions as well. Like, it's not specifically even just Christian. He talks about other religions as well, which I appreciated. I mean, he could have done more, I think, in that area, but I like that he at least attempted to point out that, like, this isn't just a Catholic thing, if that's what you're worried about. So that was really cool. One of the many things that I'm thankful for about this book. The next book that I'm thankful for is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And I absolutely love this book, and I think a lot of people do, but I am extra thankful for this book because this was actually a gift from a high school teacher of mine, which I normally don't get books from even family or friends, to be honest. It's a pretty rare occasion, so to get it from a high school teacher means an extra lot to me. I normally just don't get books from people, and so I was just so appreciative. Basically, she was my English teacher, and I was constantly reading in her class, which you'd think would be a good thing, right? But she did not appreciate that during her lectures. I tended to do it at the beginning of class, and, you know, depending like where you are on the page, you can't just stop, you know, just because the bell rings. So I would get yelled at a lot from her for reading in her class. What happened was, on the last day of class, she pulls me aside and she brings up this book and she says, I've wanted to give this to you for a while. You've been one of my favorite students, you know, and I can tell that you really enjoy reading and I thought you would really like this. She didn't go out and buy it, I will just say. It was given to her, I guess. I don't know. It was somehow given to her for some reason, and so then she gave it to me. And I hadn't read it at that time, but it was actually a book that I was interested in. This was also kind of a unique situation. Like, at that time, like, I was not aware of new books, so it was kind of unusual that I had even heard of this book at the time, but I remember going to some kind of like fair or something, like out in the town square, I guess. So there were all these different shops open, and they, you know, they had all their, you know, wares out, and one of them was a bookstore. And they displayed this because at the time, I'm pretty sure it was pretty brand new. And so I was just kind of looking, I was really intrigued, so I started reading the first chapter, and I just loved it, and I was like, man, if I had money, I would totally buy this. But I didn't have any money because I was in high school. So sadly, I didn't get the book, but I was really disappointed. And I almost forgot about that book until it was given to me, and I remember being so happy and so thankful. I mean, not only that I was given a book, but it was also a book that I really wanted. So it was just amazing because, like, we never talked about this book. I never told her that I wanted this book, but yet this was the book that she gave me. And again, I was just so thankful. It was such a cool experience. So I'm thankful, you know, that I have this book, but I'm more thankful that it was given to me by an awesome teacher. All right. And the last book on this list is, of course, Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, but specifically Chamber of Secrets, because, fun fact, I read Chamber of Secrets before The Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone. Either way, I read this one first. So back in elementary school, me and my best friend, we had heard a lot about Harry Potter. Everyone was reading it. It was this really big thing. And we wanted to, you know, get on this bandwagon. So we went to our school library and we were looking for Harry Potter, and we noticed that they only had one of each book, which is kind of a problem when you both want to read the same book at the same time. And since, like, we don't, like, live close to each other or anything, we couldn't really read the same book at the same time. So I decided to be a trooper and let her check out the first book, and then I would check out the second book, and I would read this, and it would be okay, and whatever. So that's what we did. I read the second one. I was so confused just because I've never read a book out of sequence before Harry Potter. And at first I was like, oh, it won't be that big of a deal. But once I started reading it, I was just so paranoid that there was all these things that I didn't know because I hadn't read the first book. Like I felt like I was missing out on something. And so it kind of ruined my reading experience in that sense, but I don't know, after a certain part of the book, I kind of got over that and I didn't care anymore and I just enjoyed the story for what it was. And I stopped worrying about the things that I potentially might not understand because I didn't read the first one. And it was just so good. So I flew through this book. I ended up, obviously going back to the first book and reading that, and I absolutely loved it. And I kept going from there. And Harry Potter obviously has been a huge part of my life. I love it so, so much. I don't think I'll ever love a book series quite like I do Harry Potter. Harry Potter has been a huge part of my life, pretty much my entire life. It got me into podcasts, it got me into reading, it got me into the fandom of the movies even. I had never seen a midnight release until Harry Potter. Like, it was such a big phenomenon and such an important part of my life, and I've dedicated so much time to enjoying this series and talking about it, and it's just such a good series, and I owe it all to Harry Potter. And it's one of the first books that I actually owned as well. I'm just so thankful to Harry Potter for so many reasons. I could go on and on. It's just fantastic, and I'm just so thankful. Alright, so those are the top 5 books that I am thankful for various reasons. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of different, but it was kind of fun at the same time. I hope you appreciated learning more about me and just the books I have and why they're so special to me. So as always, I just want to thank you guys as well, because I'm so appreciative to you guys just for watching these videos. It means a lot to me. So as always, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video, and until next time.